how Russian fascism was born. This is what we're gonna talk about right now. When one person falls in love with another person, or with a politician, for instance, or with an idea, we look at what we love and at who we love through the rose-tinted goggles. That person can do no wrong. Oh, he or she is smoking weed, drinking 13th beer this evening, cleaning nose and tablecloths, and so on. How charming. Oh, she is peeing on the neighbor's lawn, drinking and driving away from police. How brave. Later, when we drop the rosy goggles, we don't continue finding the same things charming or brave. We begin to see it for what it really was. Disgusting, illegal, stupid, and so on. What would we feel if we will find out that we were tricked to fall in love with the person, or with a politician, or with an idea in the first place? Perhaps pain, disgust, disappointment? What would you feel to find out that you were fooled? If you want to see how it's been done to you, well, it's been done just like it's been done to other smart people, good people, by cults and dictatorships. This tactic wildly used in many cults. There is nothing new in it. I have experienced life in a cult, because USSR, dictatorship, or cult, it was kind of like a cult. When I researched the cults for my book, mystery book, I find out it just resembles USSR very closely. So I recognize the manipulation when I see it, because I already seen it all. I seen it before. I have seen it in USSR, and I know what it's looked like. In the past, as I said, I researched the cults for my mystery novel, and despite that USSR claimed that it was non-religious country, and we didn't even celebrate Christmas, it was forbidden, or Easter, and so on, or secretly baptized people, even Communist Party members were secretly baptized their children, but they're supposed to do it in secret, or they will lose the membership in the party, and they will really become a pariah if you're religious. Religion was forbidden. But USSR was in fact a cult, a religious cult. I also find an interesting book by American author Robert Greene. One of them, several books in fact, one of them called The 48 Laws of Power. It was published in 1998. Or Laws of Power and Seduction, actually. There was another book about seduction, which is not necessarily just sexual seduction, but political seduction as well. His book is a practical guide for anyone who wants power, absorbs power, or wants to arm themselves against power, as according to Wikipedia. In the book, I'll make you a quote. The Law 27 was about play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following, or how to create a cult in 5 steps. Now I'll teach you how to create a cult. According to Greene, the 5 steps to creating a cult. Step 1. Keep it vague, keep it simple. Well, make Russia great again. Vague and simple. People would love to do it, but nobody can grab you and ask you, why did you promise that and you didn't deliver? That's exactly why. Because you didn't promise anything concrete. So it could be verified and said, well, you promised us within a year we're going to walk on Mars. The year has passed and we didn't even start to build a rocket to go to Mars. What is going on, I wonder? But, oh boy. Step 2. Emphasize the visual and the sensual over the intellectual. So, just apply to feelings. Like, yeah, we didn't become great, but you feel much better now, don't you? And everybody around you feel much better now. It's definitely because I'm in power and I'm empowered you. So now you feel great. Don't you feel greatness? Feel your blood? because we are protecting the world. We're protecting Ukraine. Don't you feel good about it? Step 3. Borrow the forms of organized religion to structure the group. Well, why invent a bicycle if the whole religion's riding it for centuries? Structure your group exactly like religious groups, which Communist Party of USSR did very successfully, and keep riding the bicycle. Step 4. Disguise your source of income. So those sheeps who is following you with open mouth didn't notice that your wealth's not coming because of you smart or because you're good successful businessman, because it comes from their pockets, which they generously donating to you because they believe in your theory. I was always wondering how smart, educated many of them, and good people, and people who built amazing buildings in Germany, like, how could they believe Hitler? Well, that's how. Because he said, I'm responsible for you. You can do whatever you want, and I will be responsible. You're not responsible for yourself. But the main thing he said, you're better than everybody else. You are the Germans, the Aryans. You're a superior race. Because of that, you deserve to rule other people, and people very easily believe that they're great, then they are not. And plus, nobody knows where the income of the leaders of the cult coming from, because it's coming from you, from your pocket, and my pocket, and everybody's pocket, not because of their superior ideas about business or something like that. Step 5. Very important step. Keep close attention. Set up an us versus them dynamic. Doesn't it look familiar? Of course, we are superior and we are so amazing. We are such a good people. But there are enemies who doesn't want us to succeed. In USSR and in Russia, I told you who were the enemies. Depends on the year and time. In USSR, it was dissidents, and it was the West. We supposed to defend us against them. The same thing happening in companies, the same thing happening in some other countries, when they say you are much better than them, and they trying to attack you, so you have to defend yourself, right? And that's exactly what happened. I saw it in the USSR and in Russia and some other countries. I especially want to highlight the step 5. Dictators or leaders who want to be dictators have simply dusted off the old Roman divide and rule policy and use it to their own advantage. They needed to keep themselves in power. They need an enemy to blame for all the faults and to attract attention for people as a stick for the dog to throw, go chase your enemies. So it reminds me all the cults and dictatorships of the past and present. This leads people to fight with their own family members, relatives, and countrymen. Each cult splits families apart so that its members are completely controlled by the cult leader, who's saying, I'm telling you the truth. I'm the only one who telling you the truth. So don't listen to your family members. What do they know? They don't love you. We do. And as soon as this is tying person inside the cult, so they can't even break out of it, because then they break out with everybody who they know, all their friends, everybody who they know and like, they in the cult. It's exactly how I feel right now. My family is in the cult. Many people who I know is in the cult. I break in, I'm an enemy. I'm a traitor. I'm a bad guy. So they think, because the cult leader told them that's how it is. That everybody in Russia who is disagree with politics of the government are enemies. And you either despise your enemies, throw them away, or you're gonna be thrown out of the group with them. And one of the basic people needs is to belong to a group. This is from even Maslow theory. So it is terrible to see how kind and intelligent people, even from a free country, not like Russia, deliberately refuse to even look at the information that might contradict their beliefs. It's like their leader is God and he's never on. Just like a typical cult or dictatorship. Remember the movie Don't Look Up? All they had to do is look up, but they don't. After reading the book of Robert Greene and remembering my life in USSR and Russia, I started to understand why some dictators in some countries are still in power, even when they're murdering people of their own country by the millions. The people in the other countries who they also kill doesn't matter, they're enemy anyway. So, in Russia right now, Putin killing Russians by hundreds of thousands. It's over 100,000 people, 180 probably already, maybe 200. Dead. Stalin was murdering people by millions. And at his death, people were kind of squashing each other in the crowd, just come to see their leader. At least Putin isn't Stalin. He wasn't loved by Russian people by any means. But anyways, it is sad to see that when good people who have morals, who are smart, kind, hardworking, and often even educated, possibly support dictators like Stalin or Hitler. Okay, I haven't actually met people who support Hitler, but I have met people who support Stalin and Putin. Even after Stalin arrested and murdered their own family members, they still, up to these days, with all the information we have today on Stalin, believe that Comrade Stalin didn't know what's happening. It's only his supporters, subordinates did those purges. It's all their fault, or the subordinates' fault. I know people whose relatives Putin mobilized to fight in Ukraine, and they got killed there. However, they don't blame Putin for death of their relatives. They blame Ukrainians who defended themselves. Anyways, Russia has always been a crybully, like the USSR. They always playing the victim card. Even now, when Russia directly attacked Ukraine, they dare to play victims card. Ukraine was directly invaded by Russian army. Not by Ukrainians. Ukrainians didn't invade Russia. Not in 2014, not now. Putin still says to Russian, it was not our fault. The West left us no choice. And some people believe him. What no choice? Nobody attacked Russia. No one. How did that happen? Oh, because the cult leader told them to. Russian fascism wasn't born yesterday. The whole history of Russia led to this. Not only Putin, but also many Russians who believe him, they have imperial ambitions. Like Crybully, they consider themselves the victim of some kind of unfair treatment. Which is again not true. As I said before in my previous videos, United States is the world leader. Accepted world leader. For a reason. And reasons. Russia isn't world leader. Russia, nothing to world economy. It's less than 2%. Yet, in the United Nations, Russia used a veto right more than world leader United States. And yet Russia, poor Russia, abused. Disrespected. It having more rights than the world leader of United States. But people believe what the leader told them. And playing crybully, oh poor us. Putin really contributed to this by falsifying Russian history. He practically made up the whole history to justify whatever he wants. And he keeps changing it the way it goes. He supported the Russians' unfounded belief in their own superiority, as Hitler made the Germans to believe in their superiority. So every time when this or that country's leader tries to start a little successful war somewhere or tries to look for internal enemies, this means that he's trying to throw us a dog stick. He's trying to divert attention from what is really important for us to see. My point is, we should stop chasing the sticks. We are not dogs. And look around instead. Because something important happening right around you. Just right at the moment when the leader trying to throw the stick. We are not dogs. Thank you for your attention. And have a great evening. or day.